The frustration around Arsenal is getting intense. It's getting to the point where no one is getting along anymore. The point of Arsenal of being a well-run club is now turning into a joke on the field. Not off the field, on the field. Frustration is looming. Frustration is boiling over on the terraces. Frustration is boiling over online. Frustration is boiling over in friendships, in relationships, at work. And why? Is it because of Mikel Arteta? Is it because of the Kroenkes? Or is it because of everything that involves the name of Arsenal? Now, I'm Tyler out here for TK24 Sports. If you're new to the show, like, subscribe, turn that notification on so you don't miss the show every time we upload. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So frustration in Arsenal is just boiling over. And sometimes you try and prepare to what you want to talk about, but you end up going all over the place. So I'm going to try and keep it simple today, and hopefully you'll understand where I'm coming from. My frustration is not just because we're not winning league titles or FA Cups or Carabao Cups or Champions League. It's frustration that in the last 5 years, I've seen the team be broken. They're slowly put back together to nearly falling apart all over again. Now, there's so many denominators that we can blame, and the easy one to blame is Arteta. And then you go after the Kroenkes, and then you think, okay, that's where it starts because it's just those two are the reasons why Arsenal are failing. But I think it's actually more than that. I don't think it's anything to do with lack of strikers or the lack of funding altogether. I think the recruitment team and then the analysis team have a fundamental role to play in this. I think the players that they suggest to Mikel Arteta are not good enough. And again, I think the players that Mikel Arteta suggests to go after are not good enough. And is this one of the reasons why Edu left? Is because no matter who he selected or brought forward, Mikel Arteta kind of poo-pooed it and it never happened. So this is what we have to look at today, not just the striker department as to why Arsenal have failed this season, because really and truthfully, if you look deeper at it, Arsenal bought a striker under Mikel Arteta. It just hasn't worked out. And that striker, if you're forgetting about him, that's because he's pretty much injured for the last 2 seasons, is Gabriel Jesus. You can put Kai Havertz into that mix and saying he is a striker because at Leverkusen he kind of played there. At Chelsea, he kind of played there. And at Arsenal, he's kind of played there. But he's not that out-and-out striker. Jesus is the out-and-out striker. So when Arsenal fans come online and say we need a striker, yes, we do, because we don't have one currently at the moment. But Mikel Arteta bought one. And when he came in, he was good. He wasn't a world beater. He was good. But you have to understand, Mikel Arteta has a different view of what a striker is compared to what I think and what you think. Mikel Arteta has in his own mind what he wants a striker to do. He has in his own mind of what he wants his players to be, and the style of play that Mikel Arteta wants to play, he goes after those sort of players. Now that of course leads to frustration, 100%, 100%. But again, as I said, he has these ideas, but fundamentally, the scouting team, the analytics team also have their views. And to me, I think this is where it's falling down. Now, the analytics team will say, okay, this is what the player you want. We run the numbers. He will fit your style of play, but I don't think he's good enough to take Arsenal to where you want to be. And that's where they should come into it. But they don't fundamentally have the cachet to say, yes, you're allowed to sign him. No, you're not allowed to sign him. And it's the same breath of this is when it comes to the Kroenkes, they just signed the checks. Okay. So you can blame them and say they're not good enough, but technically they have bankrolled Mikel Arteta for the last 5 seasons. They have bankrolled him a lot of money, 700 million. Now, to you, you may think that's not enough because you look at Chelsea and they spent over 1 billion, but they still have not got it right. You look at Manchester City and they've got it right in their recruitment, 100%. But at the time when they was buying the players, they still paid a lot of money, but sometimes it's only 50 million, 40 million, 30 million. Still big money. Still big money. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. But they done it in a time where that at the time was big money. And now you look at it, that actually wasn't big money because that's where football has gone. It's just risen so much as to how much you pay for a player Back then, when they paid for it, it was a lot of money. Now, that's your average money you pay for players. My thing is this: when we get angry, when we get frustrated, and we push the blame to Arteta, there is reasons for it, and I get that. And I'm the one who came out, and I believe I was pretty much the first one who came out and said, I believe this is going to be next season will be Mikel Arteta's last season in charge of Arsenal. And when I say that is this: I think they're going to bankroll him one more time because of what's happened this season. They will bankroll him to go out and finish his project, finish building his team. And when you look at him, people say, look how long he's been in charge, he hasn't really won the league. Well, the first 2 seasons, he's had to actually dismantle the team and then put together his team in his version, in his eyes, and what he sees. When he's put that together in 2 seasons and going into the third season, they finished fifth. Okay, not great. Going into the fourth season, finished second. No one expected that. Going into the fifth season, they almost won the league. And that word almost, I get it, didn't happen. They faltered at the last minute. Okay, but they almost won the league, pushing Manchester City to the last day of the season. Going in now into this season, it's just gone wrong. And he didn't actually capitalize on what he done last season to make sure that this season will be better. It's backfired big time. And this is why I'm saying, even though he signed that contract, I believe the Kroenkes will be saying to him, this will be your last time. We're going to bankroll you again, but this time they're going to bankroll. Forget January. January is gone. It wouldn't have made a difference if Arsenal went and signed that striker in January. It wouldn't have made a difference if they signed that winger because they was not going to catch Liverpool. And if you're smart in business, you understand sometimes you just don't need to always go out and splash the cash trying to catch someone or your competition at a time where you're just not going to win. Keep your powder dry, come back again when it's needed, which is going to be Arsenal's turn in the summer, and bankroll him. Now, I'm sure the Kroenkes will bankroll Mikel Arteta, as I said. They'll bankroll him one more time. Finish off what you want. That has to now be the focus of, in my opinion, it's got to be a striker, it's got to be a winger, it's got to be a midfielder, and it's got to be an attacking midfielder. That's 4 signings that I expect them to spend money on. Then I'll expect them to go after the free agency market and get 3 more players in for free. It's going to cost them to do so. I get it. Get yourself a backup striker, get yourself another winger, get yourself another midfielder, all in the free market. There are some good players coming out of contract. As we heard yesterday, Kimmich is not going to be re-signed with Bayern Munich. Of course, he's a big name. You're going to have a Manchester City, a Real Madrid going after him. But Arsenal should be putting their hat in the ring, going after him and fielding like that on a free transfer. Yes, you're going to pay a sign-on fee, but that's the sort of player and cachet that they need to get into this team that's going to take them over the line. You get players like that in, you get him on a free transfer. Okay, he's 30 years old. I don't care. But that's going to help Arsenal get to where they need to. And Mikel Arteta has to start thinking differently, has to start really and truly pushing his team on to win, because I believe if he doesn't get it next season, he's out of the job. The Kroenkes will say, okay, you've had your time. 4 seasons now, we've bankrolled you close to a tune of £1 billion, and you have not lifted any major silverware, i.e. the Champions League, the Premier League. Yes, you got one FA Cup, that's bought you a bit more time. But you got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and we faltered against Newcastle home and away. Unacceptable. The season has been unacceptable, but at the same time, when you lose your players midway through the season, it buys you time. 100% it buys you time. So, I'll repeat it again. I'm not saying I'm 100% Mikel Arteta out. I'm not saying I'm 100% Mikel Arteta in. I'm 50-50 right now. I'm giving him until next season, because I've got to be rational about this. I'm giving him until next season, but I expect to see a striker, a winger, a midfielder, an attacking midfielder, money well spent. And that's been part of the problem with Mikel Arteta. When they bankrolled him, he hasn't spent that money very well. With all the players that he has signed, we can turn around and say, and I can turn around and say, should I say, I want to talk for you. Rice has been good. Timber has been good. Raya has been good. Gabriel has been good. That's 4 players out of the magnitude amount of players that he's bought. Only 4, in my opinion, has been worthy of playing for Arsenal. But what's your thoughts? So now we're 10 minutes into this. What players do you think have been good for Arsenal? Not the ones who have flopped, because there's just too many, in my opinion, that have flopped. But what players to you have been good? Mine again: Raya, Timber, Rice, Gabriel. 4 players that I feel have been good purchases by Mikel Arteta. I would just like to know what players you think have been good. And what players would you like to see Arsenal spend money on? And what players would you like to see Arsenal go after? Also, in addition, on the free transfers that's going to make it worthwhile. As I said just now, I think next season will be Mikel Arteta's last season. He would have to win something. He would have to win a Premier League or a Champions League to stay in the job. Getting to a semi-final of a FA Cup or a Carabao Cup will be acceptable. Getting to the final will be what we need. Winning a domestic cup would be tremendous. Winning the Premier League would be absolutely amazing. Winning the Champions League will be out of my mind. I've never seen Arsenal do that. I've seen them get to the final and play against Barcelona, but then we lost that again. Went down to 10 men. But anyway, oh yeah, and then Henry lost us that final. But on Mikel Arteta, he has to do something special. It has to happen next season. I'm giving him a pass for this season just because of the injuries, and that's why I'm giving him a pass. People will look at Liverpool and say, well, look at Arne Slot, he's come in, blah. I don't care. I only care about Arsenal. I only care about how I feel about this club. I just don't rant and rave too much about it, because sometimes there's things that happen and crop up that stops us winning stuff. But I'm used to that. I'm used to it. Newbie fans are not used to this. I'm used to it. 44 years old. I'm used to seeing Arsenal almost there. I'm used to seeing Arsenal 3 times winning the Premier League, twice winning the old Division 1. I've seen us win the FA Cups. I've seen us win 1 Coca-Cola Cup. I've seen us with a Winners' Cup final. I've been there. I've seen it. But I've also been there with the lows, and I've been there with the highs. So I'm used to it. But now it's just a frustration that he has built us back to a team that can compete with the best, which is Manchester City. For the last 2 seasons, he has helped us. For this season, going into the 3rd season of being competitive, I have seen it. That's why I'm happy to say 1 more season is where I'm at. I'm not saying get rid of him now, because who else can I think of? No. 1 more season, finish your build, and if it doesn't work, then go. That's where I'm at. Is that fair or not? What's your thoughts? Leave your comments below. Let me know your thoughts. There's so much more to get into, but I could be here for 2 hours, and you guys are just here for like sometimes 3 minutes, 4 minutes at a time. Watch the whole show. It's that important. So I'd love to get your feedback. I'm Ty Knight here for TK24 Sports. And again, if you're new to the show, give me a subscribe. I'm trying to get to the 1,000 subscribers to start my milestone to go to the stars. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.